Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. With BTS's long-awaited comeback, the world is once again seeing the scale of K-pop's global influence. But the reach of K-pop today goes well beyond music charts and sold-out concerts. The power of its fandom is increasingly being felt in other areas as well, including climate action. One example is K-pop for Planet, a climate campaign platform created by K-pop fans that has mobilized supporters in more than 80 countries. Now, this year, the group was recognized on National Geographic's NG33 list, which recognizes global changemakers. And today, we are joined by two campaigners from the group to talk about how K-pop fandom is channeling its global influence into climate action. First, we connect to Nurul Sarifa, co-founder of K-pop for Planet. A very big welcome.
Hi, Mok-yeon. Thank you for having us.
And also joining us here in the studio is Lee Daeyeon, campaigner of K-pop for Planet. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start a discussion right away with Daeyeon first. So like I said, BTS has returned after several years away, and it's once again drawing a lot of global attention. Why do you think the comeback, what do you think this comeback tells us about the scale of K-pop's global reach nowadays?
Yes, as a K-pop fan, I also enjoyed the BTS comeback show, and BTS hit the first place on Billboard Hot 100 and Billboard 200, and now the global Hallyu fan exceeds like over 200 million people from more than 80 countries. But so this shows that the K-pop is not just music, but it's global phenomena and global movement. But we wanted to focus on like what kind of impacts that the forces that this kind of K-pop fandom has, like just focusing on the scale itself. So that's why K-pop for Planet is doing climate work, climate campaigns with K-pop fans around the world and creating impacts in our society.
Right, so the return of BTS, it really seems to highlight just how global K-pop has become. Now, when we turn to Nurul through our Zoom, so with that kind of global popularity, K-pop fandom itself has grown into a powerful international community. How far does the influence of K-pop fandom now reach beyond music?
Yes, so as you mentioned, the K-pop industry is growing its popularity at home and also abroad, right? And its influence doesn't really stop at the music or even culture. It also encourages like social advocacy and also positive action, such as the Black Lives Matter and also Save Papua Forest movement in Indonesia. And for so many years, K-pop fans have demonstrated a remarkable collective power using their voices and solidarity to raise awareness about critical issues, including social and environmental concerns. And K-pop fans in Indonesia are also actively fundraising to support the victim of climate disaster. And South Korean fans also donating to the people affected by the last year wildfires. And this is happening because most of the K-pop fans are coming from the Generation Z and also the millennials, making us the most generation that is facing the immediate impact of the climate crisis. And these drive the fans to take a climate action as well. And fans have also successfully urged major companies like Hyundai to move away from fossil fuel and also have pressured the K-pop industry to transition concerts operations to renewable energy. So I would say K-pop fans are unique and also powerful because we are everywhere and we stand for justice and also for our Earth, as well as our peers' well-being. And today, the fans is also playing a vital role in the ongoing fight for our better future.
Right. So, wow, it seems that many fans around the world are now organizing around the social causes as well. So, Daeyeon, what do you think, has actually driven K-pop fans to begin taking action on issues like climate change?
Yeah, it's because most K-pop fans are the generation that will inherit the climate crisis era, and now the climate crisis is getting more serious and serious. Like, our Earth is now reaching 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming, which is the threshold that the scientists warned that we should not cross. So it is a real life-threatening issue. So that's why the K-pop fans feel this issue is a real our thing, and they care more. And when the K-pop artists speak up against these kind of issues, it really resonates with the K-pop fans. For example, aespa and BTS spoke about this issue at the UN. Like they talk about the sustainability, and lots of artists have been talking about these issues, and that kind of messages can reach out to the K-pop fans faster and further than any other communication channels. For example, Blackpink has also served as COP26 ambassadors, so it can be one of the most effective climate communication channels, but it has not been tapped much yet, so I think there has so many potential yet.
Wow, so we were able to resonate directly from the messages of the artists themselves. Now, those discussions eventually led to the creation of K-pop for Planet in the year 2021, I believe. Nurul, tell us, what first inspired you and other fans to launch this platform?
So growing up in Indonesia, I've personally witnessed the impact of the climate crisis that is getting worse and worse each and every single year. And especially as a Jakartan, I experienced firsthand on how the local coal plants affected our life through the air pollution. And at the same time, I've also seen that K-pop fans have been actively engaging in the climate action for a very long time. I also then had opportunity to meet Haekyung, which is the co-founder of K-pop for Planet, and she's also a first-generation K-pop fan. And then we both realized that there are so many fans like us across the border who cares about the environment while also enjoying K-pop. And these realizations then inspire us to dream about what was possible with the power of K-pop fans worldwide. And this also led into the creations of K-pop for Planet. So K-pop for Planet is a platform that we created for the people like us who enjoy K-pop music or even like K-culture, other aspect of Korean culture, and want to fight for the climate justice together. So K-pop for Planet was created to spotlight the K-pop fans who have engaged and also taken action in our campaign. Because we believe that if K-pop fans gather together for climate actions, we will be one of the most strongest voices in the climate community.
Wow, it's really interesting and impressive that the conversation among fans eventually led into real movement. Now, Taeyeon, as we were researching about you, we found that you were recognized by the BBC as one of its 100 women in the year 2023 for your climate activism. What was behind that recognition? And also tell us what pulled you to join K-pop for Planet as well.
Sure. Starting from like how I joined K-pop for Planet. When I was a high school student, I enjoyed reading newspaper articles, and I found that there were more and more news coverages about the climate crisis. So I thought this is a real life-threatening issue, and I have to do something. So I joined the Korean climate youth organization, which is called 청소년 기후행동, and that's where I connected with K-pop for Planet's co-founder, including Nurul. And I thought the idea was really brilliant because I could do two favorite things at the same time, which is 기후행동, climate action, and K-pop 덕질, like fangirling. So I really enjoyed working as a campaigner here. And for BBC nomination, I'm still very honored and happy to be there, but I don't think that's my own nomination because I think it belongs to K-pop for Planet work and also to K-pop fans' activism, because sometimes K-pop fans, especially Asian young women, are left out of major climate decision-making spaces. But we've been working with K-pop fans around the world and changing the large corporations. So those kind of works were acknowledged by the world. So I think that shows the real power and force that the K-pop fans have.
Wow, so that recognition, it really shows how this platform is gaining global attention and these kinds of efforts as well. Now, since then, K-pop for Planet has mobilized fans from more than 80 countries. How were you able to turn that shared passion among fans for K-pop into coordinated global campaigns?
Actually, K-pop fandoms are really organized communities on the internet even before we were launched. They do like mass streaming parties, like voting coordinations to cheer up their favorite idols. So they have those kind of system and infrastructures. So we wanted to just direct their power toward climate action and climate campaigns to make bigger impacts, not only in the K-pop industry, but also in our society. So we also push from global fan bases, like Korean and Indonesian K-pop fandoms had worked for the Hyundai campaign. Like we asked Hyundai to find more sustainable materials for their sustainability. So we also made those kind of changes, but not only stopping there, like following that campaign, we also have been working on the Hana Bank campaign. Like we are asking Hana Bank to stop financing to the corporation which is doing coal, nickel operations in Obi Island in Indonesia, which is adding new captive coal power plants, because they already had announced they will not do coal finance in 2021, and now they are promoting their positive and youthful images with their K-pop idol ambassadorships like An Yoo-jin and G-Dragon. So we are asking Hana Bank to stop and not do the financing to those corporations again.
So a lot of joint efforts foreseeing. Now, these kinds of work has also gained international recognition. Like I've said, it has been named among National Geographic's NG33 visionaries. Nurul, tell us, what does that recognition mean for the movement?
For me, I'm of course grateful for the recognitions by the Net Geo 33, because it's also acknowledged the dedications of the K-pop fans, particularly young people and also young women in Asia, who are often underrepresented in the climate discussions. And one of K-pop for Planet goal is to encourage and highlight the voices of young women in taking climate action and creating real impact. And these recognitions is also serve as a strong evidence that our voices are powerful. But again, this award is not just for K-pop for Planet or for me, but it belongs to the true heroes, which is all the K-pop fans who have made a significant impact by tirelessly urging corporations and also government to address the climate crisis. And as K-pop again goes increasingly global, with artists touring multiple continents, including BTS that is now having the comeback, the environmental status is also growing very fast, and concert is actually one of the single largest source of carbon emission in the music industry. And even K-pop entertainment YG also reported about the daily emission from the tour that approximately 3,000 tons, which is similarly with 700 passenger car. But yet there is no industry standard for low carbon concert in Korea. So that's why we also have our campaign called K-pop Carbon Hunter, which is inspired by one of Korea's biggest shows as well. Through the campaign, we published the first ever low carbon concert report for the K-pop industry, and also we hosted a National Assembly forum with 8 cross-party members of parliament. And from the survey as well, we revealed that 92% of the fans supported low carbon concerts. And we also requested the formations of a consultative body to establish a formal guidelines from the Ministry of Culture that also could set a global benchmark. And we received a very positive response coming from one of the member of parliament, Mr. Park So-hyun at the National Assembly. And again, this shows that the power of the K-pop fans at its best. The fans do not only desire for a change, but we are organized enough to also influence policy. On the other hand, it also highlights the K-pop industry inability to move quickly enough to sustainability compared to the fans' efforts. So we were hoping this will go together to a more sustainable K-pop industry.
Wow, so this recognition from global organizations and even the parliament, it seems to reflect how the movement is gaining visibility worldwide. Now, Taeyeon, you've mentioned a while ago about some of the works that you're doing with Hana Bank and more. Could you elaborate for us? Like, we hear that some of the campaigns that you've done have pushed companies to, rethink things like album production. How meaningful have these changes been so far?
Yes, as Noel said, we had started our campaigns with touching those kind of album-based issues, which are inside of the K-pop industry. But we are expanding our campaigns to other industry fields because we wanted to keep proving the influence that the K-pop fans have. So not only Hana Bank, we have been talking about the fashion issues because lots of global fashion industry are working with the K-pop idols, but they are emitting large amount of emissions and harming the future that we will inherit. So now we are talking with the Kering, which is the global fashion brand house, and they have achieved 44% of renewable energy uses in Korea. So we will keep pushing them until they reach 100%. And usually we asking the corporations to switch to renewable energy from fossil fuels is because fossil fuels are the single largest source of emissions, and we have no space to allow coals because now we are all living in the climate crisis era, and this is a real life-threatening issues. And this week, the President Lee Jae-myung mentioned that we cannot delay the renewable energy transition anymore, and we can't agree more. And so that's why we've been working with the K-pop fans and asking corporations to make these kind of changes.
Wow, so it really suggests fan efforts can actually influence some real-world policies as well. Now, finally, before we conclude our discussion tonight, Nurul, as K-pop continues to expand worldwide, where do you see these kinds of fandom-driven activism heading in the future?
The worsening of the climate crisis will always be followed by the fandom-driven activism that will always continue to grow, including in Indonesia, home to one of the largest K-pop communities as well. Sorry. And as a climate vulnerable country, the Indonesian government is actually aims to build 100 gigawatt of solar power capacity to accelerate the energy transitions. However, it still supports the expansions of coal-fired power through captive coal power, which Diane also mentions. It's a low foreign banks like Korean Hana banks to finance this project in Indonesia. On the other hand, K-pop fans have come together to take climate actions and prove their ability to influence industry and also government to change. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because our president, Mr. Prabowo Subianto, currently visiting South Korea, and also Dayan already shared that Mr. President Lee Jae-myung's latest stance on the country transitions to a more sustainable energy policy, including a swifter push to increase the use of renewables. So I hope personally that will be a start with Korea's influence extending beyond culture into a collaborations as well on the energy transitions to renewable energy. And as K-pop continues to gain a global popularity, the future of fandom-driven activism will grow even bigger. It won't just advocate for changes within the K-pop industry, but will also champion environmental causes for our planet and shared future. And the voice of K-pop fans can play a crucial role in accelerating the transition to a clean energy, a transition that we cannot wait any longer.
Wow, well, it's really going to be very exciting to see how these growing influence of K-pop fandom continues to shape global conversations in the years ahead. Thank you so much for your insights tonight, Nurul.
Thank you for having us.
And of course, Dayan, too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us today.
And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame tonight. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.